I mean, it's just the way life
You
is.
can't please us during that time.
Oh, you're in a catch-22. The person you're living with doesn't want you just to be done because now they want their time. And you just don't
And
even
the
know which,
kids
right,
and
you don't
whatever
even,
it
and
is.
the dogs, right, you don't even know which way to go.
right.
Men
until
go
they
through
figure
this
this out.
too. Men have these funky. You know, it's funny. You guys go through the hormone change, and men, what is it? Change of life? What do they call the when
Midlife
a-
crisis.
I have a
Midlife
word for
crisis.
it, but I
Why
don't know
is
if
it
I
a
can say
midlife
it.
crisis?
Why is it? And
Why
when is
is it it's
midlife,
called-
by the way? At what age? 50? So you've passed
Mine
it?
was like at 47.
Mine's 47?
Yeah, I'm still in it. Though.
That's what I'm going to ask
I
you.
may go for 100.
So what did you do when you turned 47?
I got a tattoo.
Wow, that's a trick question, Dawn.
I got a tattoo.
Well, but what about now that you have grandkids?
I'm gonna get another one. But for me, it didn't bother me. I was always a little wacky to begin with.
True that.
But with women, when you guys get wacky, I mean, she sweats the bed,
Sweats
right?
the bed.
I think a
So
lot of
I
women
would
do.
get a water bed because they're gonna be wet anyway. Just saying. No good.
I think a lot of women have these issues, which is why women's
Okay.
health.
Look at everybody over this looking at
And
me.
you know,
like
the other
crazy.
thing is, if your female partner is happy, then the whole house is a whole lot happier.
I know. Happy wife,
That's the
happy
truth.
life.
Right?
That is
If
the
the woman
truth.
in the household is happier
You
and
good?
comfortable, then things are a whole lot happier. Sometimes it's easier to be left alone. And then you're dealing with TCM. I don't know how many men come to you as first-time patients and say, "Oh, Dr. Perry,
Many.
treat me."
Many people.
Or do they
come.
go through their wives?
What's
significant
TCM?
others
Hold
first?
on.
I
what's
get
that?
a lot of men in
Traditional
this
Chinese
clinic.
medicine.
We have
Oh,
a
okay.
huge amount of men that come here.
And what-
for
I know we're
erectile
talking women's health. Oh,
dysfunction,
okay.
Low ED and all
prostate
that?
infections. Yes.
Really?
Really?
Yes.
Prostate infection.
Yeah.
Is that common?
We have very common. Not very common. I've had 2 young men in the last 2 weeks come.
Young.
How do you know if you have
I've
a prostate
had,
infection?
How do you know?
Yeah, are you in is a man in pain? Is that what happens?
You're probably urinating
Can have a
I
lot
would
of
think.
pain. Can have blood in the urination.
Oh my goodness.
Can have frequent urination.
That's it. I'm out of here.
Can have.
Don't touch Rocky.
Go play with the dog, Freddie.
Oh,
Wow.
Wow.
I had no. So they'll come here. So will people come here as a first line of treatment before they go to their?
A lot of men do because
That's why I'm
once
asking.
they know that we treat these sort of awkward things, maybe they don't want traditional treatment. So maybe they've tried that 7 years ago or whatever, or 2 months ago, but then they learn. I don't know about first line. Sometimes yes, sometimes no, to answer your question. But they do come.
Yeah,
for
but I think
treatment
a
here
prostate
for that.
infection, right? That means they're uncomfortable and they
Or
came to
benign
you.
prostate dysplasia. I mean, that's one of 10,000
Okay.
pathologies. But, you know, men are men, women are women. We all have many, many different emotional and physical ailments that people do come here to be treated for effectively. So.
Well, what I like is you're going to be educated. You're going to come in here. You're going to learn. You know, and I keep saying this. Everybody thinks they know their bodies, right? Well, something happens as you get older.
Ugh, I know.
Your body changes, and it changes every day. My mother, she used to tell me the body is like, you know how you turn the volume on your speakers, on your whatever? Your body changes, and you sort of have to catch up because what worked yesterday might not work tomorrow.
What worked an hour ago isn't going to work in 6 hours.
But that's pretty fast.
I'm telling
And
you.
some people are very sensitive to things, right? So if you ever had a person walking with a perfume or cologne or shaving cream or something, and all of a sudden your eyes look like you've been fighting with Muhammad Ali.
Sure.
Because they get all swollen and everything. Everything, the body is sensitive.
It's like an allergy almost.
And then all of a sudden, that sensitivity turns into something else. And you become, at least coming here, you can learn more about who you are. Even if you sit with Doc and you have a conversation about who you are, you're going to be amazed that, you know something? That happened to me. Like I eat bread, I sneeze, right? You've seen it. Any kind of wheat, I sneeze like crazy. Now, it's gotten worse.
Has it?
Yes.
The gluten or the protein? But when you come and you don't know, sometimes when people come, do they just say, I just don't feel right?
I don't get a lot of that. I usually get people coming here for a very specific cause,
Oh, that's good.
and they
When
want
I
it,
go,
they
I
want
don't.
it fixed. And
I will go,
that's
I just feel
really the deal.
What
crappy.
about a checkup? Like
That's
you
what
know,
I'm
I want-
asking,
I
an
want
overall
a
tune-up.
tune. Yeah, there you go.
I would love to have people like that, but I mean, we've been open since January, and most of our patients come, they're extremely frustrated, either men or women, and they want something fixed, like severe night sweats, or just severe depression, or anxiety, or both, or all of the above, or prostate infections or just Crohn's disease, and they've tried everything, or they haven't, and they've had insomnia for 42 years. Or whatever it is, they have a problem, a specific problem in their head, and they want it fixed.
I
So-
think it's great that a man would come because they're the hardest to get to go to a doctor.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to admit that anything is wrong. You know, that's great.
She'll
we
read
got a
your
lot of
tongue.
men. Yeah.
She'll read your tongue and can actually tell you what is wrong. And she's, by the way, she'll look at it and say, do you have digestive issues? And the person, I've seen this, person will say, yeah, how'd you know? Just by looking at her tongue. And
Is it
I've
the
learned
color?
so much.
The color of the tongue?
It's the color of the base of the tongue as well as the coating and the texture of the coating and where it's located, so geographically as well as color and texture and the thickness of the tongue. And then we feel the different pulses on both the right and the left side to tell the health of your lung, your heart, your kidneys.
The left and right side of the tongue pulse? Or do you mean your wrist?
Now I was talking about the
The wrist?
pulse.
Okay.
Yeah. So the pulse, the tongue is
cold.
the only muscle in the body that doesn't have skin
She's
on
making
it.
me
You're a little nervous. You're never this cold.
I'm
and
telling you,
clammy.
but
Oh my
and it's a
gosh.
woman. I'm a little nervous.
I can see that.
Because the last time I met somebody like her was your acupuncturist.
She looked at
We're
your
not
tongue?
going to talk about that. Moving
Freddie
on.
was across the studio, and she says, "Oh, you've got this, this, and this, and this."
Yes. And I went to the doctor.
And
she
did
had
you
to
have
take-
this,
Yes,
and that?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the funny thing about all this is I said to her, don't ever look at my tongue again. That's what I told her. Get away from me.
It's amazing. Dylan, let's go to commercial break. When we come back, more with Women's Health. You want to go get Rocky? Sure. Gonna go get Rocky. We're here live at Perry Family
Oh,
Health
I gotta go.
in Palm Beach Gardens.
Rocky's coming.
We're all good. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Cruise Planners, an American Express travel representative, has a tremendous reputation for quality, service, and very competitive pricing for all of your travel needs. As a Cruise Planners travel advisor, Paul Vadiano will help you discover exciting adventures around the world, from cruises to land tours and completely packaged vacations. Paul specializes in all types of travel and will create an unforgettable vacation, wedding, or event just for you. Find Paul at www.cruiseoptics.com, on Facebook, or by phone at 561-232-2626. We make your travel dreams come true.
Thank you. Thank you for watching the Brooklyn Cafe, where every day is a new adventure. If you'd like to join Dawn and Freddie S. at the cafe, give them a call at 888-565-1470 toll free. Come on in for a cup of coffee or call to share a thought for the day and get all the information you need to help your business grow. Don't forget, sharing is caring, and to like this video. Let's reopen the cafe doors now. Back to Dawn and Freddie S.
Dylan has a slight hesitation.
How you doing, Dylan? I'm good. It is Friday. You guys, this has been a week, right? Last Friday we were supposed to be here live at Perry Family Health. And because of the storm and preparation and our crew had things to do, that we weren't quite able to make it. Hector, thank you for turning the sound on. But we are back. We are live. You can find us streaming all over social media. Our phone lines are open. 888-994-4995. Give us a call. Any questions you have for Dr. Perry or for anyone else that's going to be here today. We've got Bronco Movement with us. We've got George Soria with us of the 47 Million Reasons Health Model, which is really exciting.
Yes,
Get
absolutely.
to introduce him to Dr. Perry as well. But sometimes, Dr. Perry, when I go for acupuncture, I just want to reboot. Because now I know that there's so many things that there's a list, there's tired, anxiety, achiness. You just go and say, just do what you got to do. And it'll get to that point, I know, with your patients that they're going to say, wow, I feel so much better. And Sherry was telling us when we were at commercial break, just the overall well-being the acupuncture helps her with.
Yes, she said that I was low chi, or chi was, I'm not sure of the medical terminology, but I always have problems with dark circles under my eyes, and I know a lot of you women can understand they're very hard to get rid of, very difficult to cover up. And after my treatments, I noticed that my dark circles went away. So it's a balance of your whole body, the yin and the yang and all that other stuff that she went to school for that I can't explain.
Getting a little nervous. I'm getting a little anxious thinking about all my ailments.
No, I wanted to bring up a couple of things. We had Jojo on the set as well. And Jojo, you run and work late nights, right, from the restaurant, see what you post and everything else. I wanted to ask Doc, diet has a lot to do with health, doesn't it? Eating the wrong foods, not getting enough sleep, not having greens, not having enough water, things of that nature also contribute. So if you have something going on, you're making it worse?
Absolutely. And very specifically, we have a book coming out very soon that's written by myself and a co-professor at the Atlantic Institute of Oriental Medicine. And it's about the 32 long life foods. So, but each person has their own unique constitution. So as opposed to this whole American world of, high protein diets, not to say they don't all fantastically work well if you have a specific goal of weight loss or something. But if you're looking at optimal long life health and vitality, the book is about that. So we do, like, for example, if you have a cold constitution, like you just said, he has cold hands, and I don't know.
It's past. It's gone.
Okay. Well,
He's
well,
normally so.
He gets
No,
cold
you're
flashes.
freaking
Definitely has
clammy.
sensitivity to that because it wouldn't just come and go like that. So, would be something that, we wouldn't feed him green tea. We wouldn't feed him foods that are constitutionally cold because it's only going to, it's certainly, or salads. Like raw foods anyways in general aren't good for us, although everyone on the planet
Maybe
eats
that's why
a
I'm
lot of
always
salad.
cold.
Oh, hold on a second.
That's interesting.
Hold on. She said something very interesting.
I know.
Raw salads are not traditionally very good for you. Tell me why.
Well, because that's not true for every human, but in general, no. Because one, it's cold, so it can create a slower metabolism and actually create a spleen Qi deficiency.
Because the salad is cold, you mean?
Because the food is cold and it's raw. So raw food, too much of it can cause, in the theory of traditional Chinese medicine, can weaken the spleen. So slow digestion if it's done all the time, like morning, noon, and night.
So that's like cold water.
I was
has
just
to-
gonna
Correct.
say that.
Very
I heard
bad.
warm-
Very bad.
The body
Room
has
temperature
to.
you're supposed to
Room
drink it.
temperature, and/or
What about
slightly
salad
more.
at room temperature?
That's okay, but
Wilted.
pathologically, it's probably better to put steam the vegetables,
Steam the
steam
salad.
them, put them in a soup. Yes, as opposed to just have raw vegetables.
Back to my squash soup. I keep telling you.
That stuff is good.
Squash soup and eggs. I know.
Just the
That's what
eggs.
That's what I live on.
Well, but you gotta give yourself a little bit more than just that.
Yes.
That's maybe one meal a day. You're supposed to have 3 or 4 meals a day.
You know what I did last night? I actually cooked my hurricane food.
Well, there you go.
I made a can of tuna fish. I thought of you.
That was your hurricane food?
Yes.
I
Now-
think
now-
I ate mine before
now
you
is-
even came.
When was the last time? Well, you do. I can't remember the last time I actually made
This
a can
morning.
of tuna fish. It was like a whole thing.
And I know you don't use mayonnaise in it.
No, I had veganese, and I thought, wow, I actually had to check the dates on everything. That's
Tuna-
how long it's been since I've actually even opened a can of tuna.
Tuna fish in the morning with a cup of coffee is the best thing in the world.
Oh my God.
What are you
no
talking about?
way.
Oh my God. It's the
No.
best.
But I have to tell
I'd have
you,
to be
I think it's a
starving.
source of protein. So I think it could work.
Tuna fish has a lot of protein, but tuna fish nowadays, I don't know if it's even any good for you because it has all sorts of what happened in Japan and
I
mercury.
eat in
and-
reverse. My biggest meal's in the morning.
Is
and my
it?
lightest, oh yeah.
What
Well,
do you
they
have
say
in the
that's the
morning?
best thing to do, right?
My lightest at night, yeah.
That explains a lot, though.
But I
If you
think
have
that's
all
what
that-
they
What's
say
wrong
to
with
do.
me?
That's right, because you have all that meal in the morning and you begin to die out by
Well,
the
if
end
you
of the
if
day.
you eat late at night and you eat a lot of food, it's just gonna kind of lay there, right?
Yes.
I mean, we try to teach lifestyle, but a lot of the things we also try to talk about is just work with people with what their lifestyle already is. Because you need to hire sort of almost an executive coach to actually change your habits.
Yeah.
So if we're not going to do that, then we try to work with people what their habits already are and transform them into better vitality. Because the reality is most people don't change. We're all creatures of habit.
We go back to it.
Go back.
We go back to it.
Do you know I went back and had a Ritz cracker?
With mayonnaise
Yep.
and what else?
Cheese?
Cheese whiz?
Nope.
Were you a big
I
believer
love
in
Cheese
cheese
whiz.
whiz?
That's
Cheese whiz is
great.
horrible for you. I want the real
But
bad
Well, I know
stuff.
it's horrible for you, but you eat it.
No.
And the stuff in this can?
No, I take a piece of cheese and then I put the Ritz in there to make circles on it, and it's perfectly balanced.
What do you mean?
The cheese whiz, I take the Ritz and I put it on the cheese, and I make circles, 4 circles to every piece of cheese, and I cup it so that it's perfectly balanced on the cracker.
We can get him help for that, right, Dawn?
Why are you laughing? You don't do that, guys? Come on. You ever seen a piece of cheese? It's like a square,
If you
right?
could see,
And
if
you
you
take
could see
a Ritz
everyone's
cracker
face,
and you make a circle, 4 circles. What? Shredded cheese? Not shredded cheese. There's no fun in that.
So
You
you
gotta
take
have the Ritz.
a slice of cheese.
I cookie cutter it. Yeah, I use the Ritz itself. and I
There's a thing called Lunchables.
No, I don't eat that. That's in plastic. I don't eat that. That's horrible for you. What's the matter with you?
It doesn't
Yes.
light the
I've seen that.
preservatives.
It lights on fire, and we're eating
Doesn't
that.
melt.
Well, there's so much to it, and I'm starting to get like everyone else that watches our show, going, "Oh my gosh, is there any hope for me? What do I start to do next?" Because lifestyle, as you said, and hormone changes, and the anxiety of now what's next. Where do we start? Where do women start?
At the Ritz market.
What women? What age?
Any age, just when you have this overwhelming
Birth.
feeling of, all right, let's talk premenopausal, right? Let's talk our demographics.
What age
then.
is that,
40s, mid-40s.
It starts that early?
If we're talking
start in your 30s.
premenopausal,
I know 20-year-olds that are premenopausal.
So it just depends on what your chief complaint is. If you come in here and you have like your period is causing a lot of pain, you have a lot of clots, things are just uncomfortable, we're obviously going to work with that. If you come and your periods are not regular and you're 43 and you want to have a baby, and we can help regulate the period and get them to have a baby.
Did she say clots?
yes,
Clots in your period?
That's
Yeah.
not a guy conversation.
blood clots, yeah.
Blood clots. How the hell do you know you have a blood clot in
You
your
can
period?
see it.
You
know.
can see it? That sounds dangerous, Doc. Is that dangerous? I'm talking to all the guys out there. They got wives or girlfriends, and you wake up and all of a sudden there's a boulder in your.
It's not in your bed.
It could be actually create anemia. So if you look at most of the CBCs, the metabolic panels, and the uric acid of young women, that's actually a really good question because you're absolutely right. It could cause anemia. So low red blood cells and low hemoglobin count, which is very common. It's also common in the elderly and those that are just recovering from chemotherapy and radiation. Also, people that just come out of surgical procedures of any kind, hip, knee replacements, or anything else.
Does anyone ever
So-
feel good? Because I'm gonna. Because
A
I'm
lot of
thinking
people
about
feel
me.
great,
Thinking,
and
do I ever
that's
feel
actually
good?
why we're here is to try to help, keep that balance for people. So, a lot of times some people won't recognize it because they may still be within the actual range of RBCs, hemoglobin, or what have you. But if they're on the lower end, we can easily pump that up with herbs and acupuncture and different options that we have available to help balance that quickly and effectively so they have better strength and they do feel good.
And there's so much with the east-west balancing of what it is.
Yeah.
Right? We were talking earlier, people who are on thyroid medicine or are on medicine for your diabetes, it doesn't mean go off of them. It means that you can work with both, and at some point you may be able to transition into more of a natural treatment, but you never stop what you're doing if it's working for you and you feel well.
We have lots of diabetics that come in here that are completely off their insulin and metformin. So I don't want to mislead that we don't, but we certainly start them alongside of the Western medical treatment.
Right.
And we leave it up to their MD to work alongside of us to optimize the patient's treatment.
And that's what's really important, is you want to work together with your doctor. No one's ever going to say, get off of your medication, but alongside that, you might be able to reduce some of your medications as you go into a more natural, holistic approach and feel better. Because like you said, one medication leads to another medication. I know.
Side
I'm all
effects.
over the place.
Well, I'm just bringing this up because at least my doctor, I said to him, due to my circumstances, I am going to go and try everything. And you've known over the last almost 3 years now, I've tried everything. I've taken, you name it, and I've tried it to see if it will help with the diabetes. I dropped 68 pounds. That helped. Okay? But it's not permanent.
So are you aware of the back shoe system on the back from going to acupuncture in the past?
Well, I had a lady who threw me on the floor and did some acupuncture on me, but I'm willing to learn.
The back
Okay,
shoe
so
system?
The back shoe system is one of the microsystems of the brain on the body, and it's in that system there is a pancreatic function. So even though I believe, are you sharing with us that you have diabetes type 2 or type 1?
What do I got? Two.
Okay, which is extremely common and one of the most expensive pathologies in the United States, growing. But within that, there is a pancreatic regulator on the back part of the back shoe system. And when we do cupping on that, you don't even need acupuncture. You can do cupping on that point, and it will very effectively correct the diabetes if done consistently and regularly alongside of other modalities and treatment.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
So I'm
I
sure
never
your
heard of that.
acupuncture probably did it.
No,
But she
hold on.
probably maybe just didn't have
no.
as much explanation
I
as
had an
Dr.
acupuncturist throw me on the floor at the studio.
He did one treatment for 20 minutes. Ever.
Yes. Ever.
Ever.
And I said that
So
I
we
would go.
normally recommend 14 treatments with somebody like that per session. So after that, we can do your A1C3 first. We can do your A1C3 fast.
You do the A1C3 here?
I don't right now. I would like to, but we can. I mean, it's within our scope of practice. Because we're still very new. I apologize,
Right.
but we don't have somebody to do it here right this moment. But if you bring in your blood work,
Okay.
your last blood work,
Okay.
you go through 14 sessions, and then you get your renewal blood work, you will see a measurable difference. And or even after, I've had diabetics come in here that are on insulin, metformin, and we've been able to get rid of the whole thing. And these are
That's incredible.
It's incredible, and but we work together as a team. But what I'm saying, some of these folks that are extreme diabetics, they have a thing now, they can just plug it into their arm. I'm sorry, I don't know the actual technology.
that,
I'm,
yeah.
Yes.
Still
I've seen
figuring
it.
out my cell phone. But the point is
Are you talking about to test their sugar?
correct.
The Libre. Libre?
Yes.
Yeah, you
Right.
put it off
Thank
your
you.
phone even.
Yeah,
It works.
it's called Libre.
No, but yeah, on the phone.
You show
but they
it.
have to have it plugged into the body.
Is
So-
that
But what I'm saying is,
is that a
after
needle?
one
Goes
into
treatment,
the skin.
after
needle?
one treatment, it can go down like 100 points.
Wow.
So we had somebody in here like in the 300s down to like really, really high, and then like over 100 points down
In one treatment.
in one treatment.
That's remarkable.
So, but the key is to make it sustainable.
Right.
So
That's-
the person continuously
Right.
improves. And that's
That's
why
the
we
deal.
require the 14 treatments. And if you're an extreme case, then you might take a break for a month or two, come back for another 14 treatments. But it's not only the acupuncture and cupping, we do also give you a diet here, given by our endocrinologist from Leahy Clinic in Boston. And then we also do, some other side things depending on your individual needs. But it works, and we're happy. We definitely effectively treat that with traditional Chinese medicine.
I
I
went
think
from
I would try that. if I was
I
diabetic.
went from an 11.2 to a 5.6. But keeping it at 5.6, and then I lost my mom, and other factors weighed into this thing, and then it went up again, and then I'm playing the yo-yo effect. It's very difficult to keep diabetes down.
Balanced.
Because, you have a glass of wine, it goes up. If you look at bread, it goes up. It all depends on your body.
Right. Alcohol is one of the toughest things for a diabetic. I mean, that is
But
true.
tequila
Yeah,
and
tequila's better.
vodka
Absolutely.
is the best.
It is.
But
It
then you
is.
know what
For
happens
blood
when that
glucose.
wears off? I mean, it goes right back.
You got to go right back and do it all again.
That's right. I mean, you need an IV of tequila.
No more than 2 a day.
No more than 2 a day. So if you have 4, that's 2
Big
days.
glasses?
Do you know I had the dawn phenomenon from 3 to 6 was my
AM.
in the morning. Yes, I used to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I used to take my blood work, and it always went from a 120 to 160, 110 to 170. from 3 to 6. And I did every research in the world. And I tried everything. I tried that vinegar, whatever that is. I tried that. And the one thing that worked was a shot of tequila at 3 o'clock in the morning. And my doctor says, no, you don't want to do that. You're gonna make bad habits to your body, and your body will react to it. That's the problem.
Well, again, when we talk about diabetes, and I'm not sure how we got here from Women's Health, but that's all good. When we talk about diabetes, what it is it's really a liver disease. It's not really a pancreatic dysfunction. Your liver meridian is congested and your physical liver is congested. It can't handle all the sucrose, glycogen, blah, blah, going through each cell. It's clogged. Like oil in an old car using lousy gasoline. I mean, I don't know if that's a good analogy, but I'm trying to paint a picture.
Yeah.
So that's the issue. It's not, your pancreas actually is capable of working fine. But for some weird reason, in TCM medicine, when we do cupping and or acupuncture on the pancreatic shoe point on the back, it does lower blood sugar for type 2 diabetes. And it is sustainable when it's done repeatedly. You know, so interestingly, but I just thought I'd share that.
And that method is being used more and more by professional athletes. I've seen some of the Heat players are using it more and more for different things, not only diabetes, but for different things. And more women, for some reason, my cousin has lupus. And all of a sudden, everywhere I turn, I hear the word, I have lupus. What is lupus? Especially among women, why is it growing?
Lupus is known as an autoimmune disease. I am not an expert in that, although we do treat autoimmune here. That is not my expertise, although I would welcome a patient to come because it is a tough, multifaceted pathology. And, you know, it's also, I think, related to the liver meridian. But I'm not an expert on that as of yet. I know people that have had it and that have died from it. I didn't notice it was growing, but certainly acupuncture is always good because it does move things, and it's not like a toxin like cancer. If you move things the wrong way with a cancer patient, you could hurt them. So with a side treatment of cancer, like after radiation or something, you can totally help that patient as a side person alongside of Western medicine. But lupus, you know, I would think could be very much helped with TCM medicine with an expert in that part of the field, which is not my expertise.
I think a lot of autoimmune diseases can be helped with TCM. Hormonal, women, pain, even children and anxiety. There's so many things that it can help with. And it's so easy. And if you don't want to do the needles, now you have the cupping aspect to it. You have the acupressure points. The herbs make a big difference as well. And it's just what you're comfortable with and starting someplace, but it's certainly open for a conversation as an option of something different to try, because the medication, and we know what's going on in the pharmaceutical industry, is that one medication, you have side effects to another, and you don't feel well, and then you have another, and then you've got all these medications, and at some point you go, you're either on 10 meds, or you say, I want off all of them, and to get off of them, it's tricky, because now you have to wean yourself off, and the expense is a whole nother story. And it happens for young people as well. I mean, women going through menopause or first being diagnosed with autoimmune disease. First they tell you it's cardiac, it's anxiety. Then they give you all these antidepressants. For something that you don't have, it's a symptom of something else, but it's getting to the bottom of what is the symptom from.
Exactly. Like when I look up lupus, you know, it affects the skin a lot of times, like a scleroderma. I mean, not like that, but I mean, it is skin pathology. It affects the kidneys and the blood cells and the brain, heart, and the lungs. So we absolutely can help a disease like that, but as far as getting to the root cause is the key to success. So that's really what we want to achieve
Seems
here.
like the liver causes a lot of problems.
The liver does.
Everything is around the liver.
The joke in both Western medicine at Western Medical School as well as TCM Medical School is they say the doctor that understands the liver pathology.
Or cupping. More water with less alcohol, whatever it is, you can try something, and just hopefully your partner's going to stand by your side and be supportive, because we can't do this alone as women. Neither can men. I mean, no one can really
Nobody
go through
can.
feeling crappy alone.
Nobody
You
can.
just hope you have a strong support system either way, because if you don't, you just feel alone. And although sometimes we'd rather feel alone, but we really don't want to be alone.
No, and
but-
honestly, we get great results. I just want to share. I mean, on an up note,
Yes.
I'm sorry if I sound like this dreary doctor, but we do. I'm very proud and honored to say I'm thrilled that I took the time to really study this medicine, and it's my honor and privilege to help our community get healthier. I mean, I've really that's my life goal, and I can only share with you that people do come in, whether it's hemorrhoids or male health or women's health, they leave here feeling better, amazingly better, like definitively better. So 9 times out of 10, almost all the time, the person's health is significantly improved. So I feel so honored and privileged to be able to be part of this movement, and it does absolutely work, and sometimes not exclusively, sometimes exclusively, but I don't want people to feel like, no, I mean, it's extremely beneficial for making it part of your world. TCM, please try, because it's not just a little thing, like it's a huge.
Now, what do you do for somebody who doesn't sleep well?
So
Because I don't sleep well,
insomnia.
and that's the part, I think, the end of
Yes.
menopause.
Do you have dreams? Like, do you have vivid dreams?
I do.
Okay.
I have good ones, actually.
Okay, but the fact
JoJo.
that you remember them.
I don't
So-
want to get rid of those.
So now that shows that your heart is involved. You must have a big heart. But a lot of times, insomnia is almost much commonly because of the heart being a little bit too excited. And whenever we have vivid dreams, we know the heart's involved. So we would tonify your heart. But again, we would have to evaluate it exactly. And
Right.
I won't have you stick out your tongue here on the TV. We can play kids in another room after. But that is almost always involved with insomnia. Sometimes it's the liver overacting on the heart. Sometimes it's just the heart. But we can nourish that,
What
make
about
it strong.
overactive brain? Somebody who's constantly, flipping them
Thinking
pages.
too much.
So that's called liver yang rising, and it can show
It
itself.
has a
in-
name.
It has a name, and it's like either like you can get migraine headaches, or you can end up with just like you can't sleep because of that. Like, and that would be or it can be. It's basically false heat. So your body, when we actually treat that, you might feel like healthier and stronger, but not as energetic naturally, because it's actually your real energy.
Really?
Yes.
So this is like a steroid, like a super duper going on through your body.
Well, that's false heat when you're like going on empty.
It's like your adrenaline just keeps going,
Yes.
going, and they can tonify it, and then you just can breathe.
Tonify your kidneys and bring down the yang,
You
center
need
the yang.
tonifyingness.
I do.
You do.
I'll tell you, something happened to me not too long ago. I was looking at something. All of a sudden, the outer rim of my eye looked like I was looking through a prism. And it was for about 30 minutes, and a friend of mine said, "You're having an ocular migraine." Like, what the heck? And I looked it up. And they said it would be gone within 30 minutes, and it was.
Dr. Perry, what's your phone number here? Because we're going to switch over to our next hour.
Sure, it's 561-660-8511.
We are live at Perry Family Health up in Palm Beach Gardens. For more information, stay tuned for our next hour, 95.3 FM, 1470 AM, and we will be back in 2 and 2, which is,
4.
we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Dr. Perry with Perry Family Health here in Palm Beach Gardens. And I was just going to talk to you today a little bit about traditional Chinese medicine. We are boarded here in both biomedicine as well as traditional Chinese medicine, but we commonly use the lab tests from Western medicine to treat with traditional Chinese medicine most pathologies that patients come in with. 12 different major meridians in the body. So in Western medicine, we commonly understand the importance of cardiovascular system and the pulmonary system, which would be the heart and lungs. In traditional Chinese medicine, we understand that every single visceral organ and its bowel system has its own way of movement throughout the human body, very specifically. We call those meridians. You can just see the many, many different pathways the body has that we're not as familiar with in the Western medical field. So it's just so key and essential that we work alongside of each other. Thanks so much. Hi, I'm Dr. Perry with Perry Family Health here in Palm Beach Gardens. And I was just going to talk to you today a little bit about traditional Chinese medicine. medicine as well as traditional Chinese medicine, but we commonly use the lab tests from Western medicine to treat with traditional Chinese medicine most pathologies that patients come in with. 12 different major meridians in the body. So in Western medicine, we commonly understand the importance of cardiovascular system and the pulmonary system, which would be the heart and lungs. In traditional Chinese medicine, we understand that every single visceral organ and its bowel system has its own way of movement throughout the human body, very specifically. We call those meridians. You can just see the many, many different pathways the body has that we're not as familiar with in the Western medical field. So it's just so key and essential that we work alongside of each other. Thanks so much. Hi, I'm Dr. Perry with Perry Family Health here in Palm Beach Gardens. And I was just going to talk to you today a little bit about traditional Chinese medicine. Here in both biomedicine as well as traditional Chinese medicine, but we commonly use the lab tests from Western medicine to treat with traditional Chinese medicine most pathologies that patients come in with. 12 different major meridians in the body. So in Western medicine, we commonly understand the importance of cardiovascular system and the pulmonary system, which would be the heart and lungs. In traditional Chinese medicine, we understand that every single visceral organ and its bowel system has its own way of movement throughout the human body, very specifically. We call those meridians. You can just see the many, many different pathways the body has that we're not as familiar with in the Western medical field. So it's just so key and essential that we work alongside of each other. Thanks so much. Hi, I'm Dr. Perry with Perry Family Health here in Palm Beach Gardens. And I was just going to talk to you today a little bit about traditional Chinese medicine. We are boarded here in both biomedicine as well as traditional Chinese medicine, but we commonly use the lab tests from Western medicine to treat with traditional Chinese medicine most pathologies that patients come in with. 12 different major meridians in the body. So in Western medicine, we commonly understand the importance of cardiovascular system and the pulmonary system, which would be the heart and lungs. In traditional Chinese medicine, we understand that every single visceral organ and its bowel system has its own way of movement throughout the human body, very specifically. We call those meridians. You can just see the many, many different pathways the body has.
My name is Nick. I'm a Hey Mr. DJ Courtesy Limo. I service all of South Florida. We offer really great services. We offer DJ and limo service. When you book the DJ service through us, you get the courtesy limo for the entire day. My office number is 561-507-4376. Mention Yelp or Google, you get 15% additional savings. You can look me up on Yelp or Google on the Hey Mr. DJ.
If a tree falls in the woods and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? Have you ever felt that your voice goes unheard? And you think that you can make a difference if only someone would just listen? It's time for women in business to have a place to step into your power, a platform to embrace your hopes, dreams, and your visions, a voice to heal and restore. Your voice can make a difference. We have the platform to share your story and let your voice be heard. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself the chance to be heard and shine bright. Contact New Dawn Media by texting CAFE to 80800. That's CAFE to 80800.
Cruise Planners, an American Express travel representative, has a tremendous reputation for quality, service, and very competitive pricing for all of your travel needs. As a Cruise Planners travel advisor, Paul Vadiano will help you discover exciting adventures around the world, from cruises to land tours and completely packaged vacations. Paul specializes in all types of travel and will create an unforgettable vacation, wedding, or event just for you. Find Paul at www.cruiseoptics.com, on Facebook, or by phone at 561-232-2626. We make your travel dreams come true.
It's lunchtime, and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from Studio A in the heart of Delray Gallery, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, a movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free at 888-565-1470 right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
And we're back. Uh-oh. And we're here.
Yep.
Welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe. I had to hear the echo of the speaker.
I love when Steve-O stops talking and Dylan goes 5,
I know. It's a little
4,
late on the draw. Dylan, we're going to
3.
speed up your pills.
2.
Welcome to all our friends across America. Thank you for sharing out the show yesterday. It's been a long time since we did that. And I also want to congratulate Dawn because she put out the magazine. The magazine is now coming at a theater near you.
The Brooklyn Cafe Gazette went out this morning. It went out at 11:45. So check your email boxes. If you're not on our list, go to brooklyncafe.tv. You can hit subscribe. You can also find it hopefully on social media if I put the links in right. It was a big foundation newsletter that we did. We were able to do Operation 120, and there was a spotlight piece on Tiffany Kennedy, Captain Tiffany Kennedy in there, that Ryan Luff put together. Which
Captain,
is,
right?
Captain, which is spectacular, and that was for Operation 120. We also have Foster Palm Beach County in the newsletter.
It's a newsletter.
We have Healing Moments. It's really
dynamite.
a Healing Hope Gazette. So check that out, and soon to be
Good job.
translated in Spanish. That will be coming out as Fuego to your inbox coming out in the next couple of days, and more to come. And what I want to do is really get more out more often. So maybe we do one big newsletter Gazette a month, and then we can do smaller ones. So maybe we can do one focusing on Bahamas Strong, on Bahamas Relief next week, just one quickie article, and we can do one on the cruising because today happens to be the last day for the deep discounts on the Brooklyn Cafe TV cruise to Mexico, to the Western Caribbean, and the one going to Alaska. Alaska leaves August 2nd of 2020, and the one going to Western Caribbean leaves on March 7th of 2020. So for more information and for deep discounts, they're on Celebrity Cruise Lines. Call who, Freddie?
Paul.
And what's his number?
How do you remember all this? I'm looking to
You're
see
looking
if
for my
yeah,
teleprompter?
something's written.
561-232-2626. Call Paul today. You can book each cruise with a $500 refundable deposit. It saves your space. It saves the pricing. For Alaska, you will save $900 on a cabin of 2 if you book by today, which is spectacular. And you have 90 days to pay in full. So you have the entire year to pay up and nothing to lose.
And you got to get a passport. You're going to need a passport for the Alaska trip because you're going into Canada, and from Canada you're going back to the U.S.
And
so
that
you need a
leaves
passport.
August 2nd of 2020, and the one to the Western Caribbean goes to Key West, it goes to Mexico, and it goes to the Grand Cayman. So for all your travel needs, always call Paul. So I want to put that out. We've got a lot of information to put out. We're rolling into season. We've got a lot of things going on.
Season is on its way, and I am predicting the best season we ever had. Also, if you want to give us something to write about, on Monday night from 6 to 7, we got a special at the NN Studios. We have Bahamas Strong is going to do an hour show. They're going to bring on everything, the greatest and latest is going on in the Bahamas. And on Tuesday, they are flying out, and we are going to have a live report on the Brooklyn Cafe straight from the Bahamas Hurricane Center.
But you know, to do all this information, I got to keep my energy up, which means we got a lot of women's health issues we got to talk about, because we can fake it all on the outside, but ladies, we got to feel a little bit good on the inside. So we are here live at Perry Family Health in Palm Beach Gardens, not the one in where, D.C.? Yeah, we are not in Washington, D.C., so if you're trying to find us, it's only about 20, 30 minutes north or south of where you are, not 15 hours. So Michelle Lander, she's joining us on our next segment. We also have Lonnie Markman of Pilates Play Space. Talk about cupping. Going to
Do
see firsthand on what cupping looks
Do
like.
you do that often?
I do it every week.
Every week? You look like that every week?
Yeah.
You look like a Rubik's Cube.
My son likes it.
Maybe that's how she stays in so much shape.
Oh, you could, I didn't know you could make a pattern on it. You could like
She's
make tattoos.
teasing.
No,
I think,
look,
it
she
must,
says
I
no
think it
pattern.
must hit meridian points. Yes, Dr. Perry?
So you see that and you see everything that's going on there. You know what? Let's you and me switch mics. How's that?
Perfect. We're going to switch mics because that mic gets a little tricky. We're going to give that one to Freddie. We're also here. We're back with Jennifer Huertas of BRCA Movement, and we're here with George Soria of 47 million
How many?
reasons.
How many
Healthcare.
reasons?
47 million.
47 million? Not 46,999,000?
Oh, no, we round up on everything, including winning
47
Lotto.
million
47
reasons.
million reasons, and they were both with us on the show earlier this week, but we wanted to introduce you to Dr. Perry and really talk about how all of this comes together and how we can all work together on preventive health, because it's not always about getting to the diseases after the fact. Sometimes if we can get to them in the front and preventive, as you said, chi, and moving things through your body and cleansing the liver and everything we need to do, we'll all feel a whole lot better and be a healthier society as a whole. And I think you had a chance to talk to Jennifer before the show started. And we
wanna
actually got
start
an
there?
email about Jennifer, not about Jennifer,
Yes, yes.
but about talking about how can you possibly be doing this BRCA testing, and it's just a DNA cheek swab, either for free for people that qualify, through insurance, or for this deep discounted price, because then we got something saying, is this a Medicare scam? Are
A
you
scam,
just collecting
yeah.
information? Now, we know she's not, but we want to debunk the myth so you don't have to keep sending us the emails, but thank you for the info.
Yes.
Because you know what?
All
Because
437
now
of you.
we're going to ask the question, and this way you don't have to worry that you'll be able to safely call Jennifer.
Right. Well, first of all, as I've said before, and I'll say it again, it's not a free test, which is why the first time when we actually sat down, I
Yes.
told you I couldn't
Yes.
offer it to you. And
Correct.
you do have to qualify. Now, truth is, Centers of Medicaid and Medicare Services, known as CMS, is kind of who looks out for all of our, not just our senior citizens, but they kind of pave the way for everything that is allowed to be billed through insurances moving forward. Every time something new and innovative comes out, it always raises eyebrows. Yes, there was a couple of companies that were out there that were using a telemedicine format where instead of actually working with the patient's primary doctor, which is what I do, I work directly with their private doctor who they trust, who knows them, and their specialists. That would be a fraudulent activity. So those companies were all shut down a long time ago, but of course the emails are out there, they surface as it comes up, they reiterate, and it's a good thing because what they're doing is they're teaching you who to avoid. If somebody says the test is free, yeah, absolutely. Run the other way because it's not. It's either a benefit of your insurance or in our case now, if you don't have insurance, we do have a pay option, but it's not a free test and it's not an expensive test.
And actually, the first
So-
time we've even heard about any of the DNA swabbing was when you were down at WNN, Dr. Perry. You brought in someone that you work with that takes these tests and analyzes the results. Because we talked on the first hour, I can finally breathe again. I don't think like I'm dying. But again, we run these tests as preventative medicine and say, all right, you can have a marker for A through Z.
Right.
And then what do we do with this without panicking or sharing with our loved ones that you could potentially have a genetic disorder? What do you do as a physician when you get
Absolutely.
these results?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So we did bring on a geneticist back then as well, Drew Schenkels, and he's a wonderful guy too. So what we do is once we get it back and it indicates that the person potentially has A, B, or C, we can then work to prevent that. So a lot of the genomes show that you may or may not have this higher likelihood to achieve, X. It doesn't guarantee that you would, and we can certainly see the actual pathology on the tongue and through the pulses and work to prevent that. So that's the beauty, again, of working alongside of of both.
And it's fascinating that we can do this through TCM, through traditional Chinese medicine, as well as, George, through what you're doing with your new healthcare platform, right? So it's how East meets West. It's how we can all work together and prevent disease, or at least try to move things through the body through healthy living.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. And sometimes we're too fragmented. And, you know, and I hear it all the time from the medical profession, or again from the holistic profession, and you know, even from the chiropractors, they're considered doctors, not considered doctors. And you know, so you get into this whole mess. And at the same thing, and everyone has their expertise. But we have to look at it from a whole perspective. And that's how we look at it. We look at it from a whole perspective. We have and in looking at it as a whole, you need to know where you're at. How can you improve anything? How can you prevent anything? How can you do anything if you don't know where you're at? You know, it's like getting a road map. You know, you say you go to California, but you don't look at the map, but you want to go to California. Well, how are you going to get there? And what's the best road versus the worst road? How long it's going to take? You need direction. And I think that's what a lot of people are looking for from a consumer's perspective. They need direction. And so that's what we're doing. We're saying, okay, let's create a facility. Let's make it cost effective, all right, make it affordable, because that's the other issue. People don't go because it's not affordable. So we want it affordable. As a consumer myself, I want it affordable, and I want to be able to go not 15 times a day or in a given month, because I don't have the time. I'm a businessman. Who's got the time to keep going back and forth, back and forth? And the other thing that happens is when you keep going back and forth, it becomes more depressive.
And you're talking about a lifestyle change, right? So we can gather all of this information through the DNA or through other protocols, look through it and say, you know what, we can do A, B, and C as a lifestyle change. Let's see where you are in X amount of weeks and come back and reassess it. Maybe it's through TCM. Maybe it's through the herbs. Maybe it's through cupping. Maybe it's through food. But at least you have, again, hope.
Well, over the years, we've talked to lots of people who have gone to many doctors, many different, and they haven't gotten better. You know, the book happens to come to mind. She's been seeking a doctor, I think, 4 years with this pain that she has, and nobody seems to understand what's going on. You had a client you told me about yesterday. She's been to every doctor known from here to Wyoming, and she couldn't be helped until she came here. So I think that it's a catch-22, because sometimes it takes time to get healthy, and you have to put in the work. You see, I didn't put in the work. I took every shortcut there was. I was on the Freddy food diet. I didn't eat right, and she'll tell you. They used to make fun of me. I didn't take care of myself. But I didn't have the information that I'm looking at right in front of me.
But were you happy?
I was delirious. I'm always happy.
But I just want to comment too, like I'm all about problem solving, and I think anyone in the healthcare field, that should be their motivation. But information by itself is nothing but a data dump. So if you have information telling you potentially have cancer, or you have ABC or whatever it is, who cares if you can't fix it? So guess what? The bottom line is getting the results, getting people healthier optimally. That is a piece of the pie. It's essential, and I respect it greatly. However, where do we go from here? And what are the venues that can help the patients once you've identified that? We also can identify that by reading a person's tongue and pulse. So we are a modality that works extremely effectively to also identify pathology alongside verified lab work in the Western biomedical world. So, but ultimately the bottom line is whether I identify a diagnosis correctly or incorrectly, or whether you do correctly or incorrectly, it's all about where do we go from here, and how do we optimize this human being's health.
Okay, but I got a controversial.
Right. I mean, is that otherwise it's a data dump.
You're right. We want to
I got a
optimize health.
controversial question for you. You go see your doctor, and in my case, talking about me, puts me on tetracycline for 5 years. Okay, now, you see the face? That's why this data dump can save your life if you know what the hell is going on.
If you know what's going on.
Exactly. But they put me on tetracycline
It's a
for
piece
a
of the pie.
number of reasons, right? Then he put me on something to combat the teta, which then I was taking 12 pills, each one chasing the other. This was my high school days, okay? So the bottom line here is I'd rather sit in front of people who have information, and let me make up my own mind now and say, Doc, what do you think is going to work for me? And what do you think isn't going to work for me?
Indubitably. I couldn't agree with you more. I'm just saying that information isolated by itself,
Yes.
without good leadership in the medical
Agreed.
field from a clinical standpoint, we don't go too far. So the whole unified group of us is essential. I was just basically agreeing with all that you have to share. It's just that there's not one total solution. It's all of us working
Agreed.
together, and you as the consumer, we're in a consumer-based healthcare field in the United States today, now more than ever. So what does that mean? It means the customers decide exactly. So it's just good to educate them to know, look, we provide information on your genome. We provide information also on your genome. And we provide solutions in this area or that. And how do we patient can choose. Patient can choose. I want TCM for this. I want Western medicine for this. I want first to go to the genetic professionals to identify the following. Then I want my CBC, uric acid metabolic panel, so I can also know how to assess and evaluate this and how to treat it. But treating is based on the information, that's the good, the bad, and the ugly, but you've got to also, equally as important, know where do we go from here and what are our options. So we just like to identify ourselves as part of the community as being one of those options of clinical treatment.
Tell us your phone number here and where you're located, Dr. Perry.
So it's 561-660-8511, and we're on Alt A1A between the Gardens Mall and Frenchman's Reserve.
It's a spectacular location. We are live today at Perry Family Health. We're going to go to commercial break. When we come back, we're going to let all of you continue the conversation. We're going to talk to Michelle Landers on women empowerment. We've got Lonnie Markman here, Pilates Play Space, and continue our conversation. Give us a call. Let us know what you think, or write in on Facebook, 888-565-1470, and check your inbox because the Brooklyn Cafe Gazette should be right there. Stay tuned, and we will be right back.
So
Let me ask you, when you post on MobiPop, when we upload different things, like yours is, you text your code and then does it go to these other platforms? Big blowout?
It can. It depends on what package you use. We have certain different packages. We have free packages. So if you post something on your MobiPop card, we then put it on your other platforms to drive your clients to you. Because the whole point of this is you want qualified inbound leads. And one of the problems is when you pay money for Facebook advertising, you just kind of like splatter the internet. And you don't know, I know they do demographics and age and things like that, but you don't know if they're interested. The way we do it is
Hi, I'm Dr. Perry with Perry Family Health here in Palm Beach Gardens. And I was just going to talk to you today a little bit about traditional Chinese medicine.
Analytics, you'll be able to see my ad, or maybe you won't. Who's to say?
I'll tell you, the thing with Facebook Analytics, and I only know that platform, so there's probably others that might do the same, they change their algorithms. What we get now is 7 people have seen our show.
Right.
Okay, we can have 30 people here in our studio with their phones on and sharing it out, but they're going to tell us 7. But we can have 600 views with a reach of 7, which means they're changing anything they want. So to go by those numbers, they're not even real.
Right. They're not real. It's very hard, especially if you're trying to run a business and if you want to go do Facebook Live. Now, if you do original content through Facebook, you have more engageability from the Facebook audience because they don't like when you hook up Vimeo or YouTube because that's not their platform. So they want you to engage on their platform. So when you engage on their platform, you have a better shot at it. But it's better to engage with hashtags and with emojis and, to tag people. Therefore, you're trying to run a business. Now you're spending your day trying to figure out Facebook. How do you run a business when you're trying to figure out?
And I want to talk a little bit about what you're talking about because all those things that you're essentially putting in there, it's about marketing strategy, and you're making it so every individual can tailor-make their market to suit their need.
So in Western medicine, we commonly understand the importance of cardiovascular system and the pulmonary system, which would be the heart and lungs.
Sexy, seductive, and beautiful. Looking for a professional and talented photographer? Danielle Boujon specializes in capturing flirtatious and tasteful images
Do you hear
for
me now?
yourself or your partner. Located in South Florida, Danielle really knows how to bring out your inner beauty on a shoot. Visit her website at www.daniellebuljan.com or call her at 561-305-2241 to capture your most
hear me, Joe?
desirable moments.
Only on the phone. They're not getting our sound.
Standing up to corporate bullies, using innovative, aggressive, and effective strategies to resolve disputes effectively and timely. Contact us at 954-252-9818, online at farrellawfirm.com, and on Facebook at Farrell Law Firm. We look forward to being of service to you.
Thank you for watching the Brooklyn Cafe, where every day is a new adventure. If you'd like to join Dawn and Freddie S. at the cafe, give them a call at 888-565-1470 toll-free. Come on in for a cup of coffee or call to share a thought for the day and get all the information you need to help your business grow. Don't forget, sharing is caring, and to like this video. Let's reopen the cafe doors now. Back to Dawn and Freddie S.
And we're back.
You got your bell back. All is right in the world. You've got your bell. I've got my wand.
I got my
back
bell.
on social media. You got to keep going.
You need your
we
souvenir.
are?
We need, you'll have to do it
Welcome
from
back.
Healing Moments. And we'll send out those
I
good
didn't know.
sound
We're looking at two
vibrations.
different
I
variables
don't know
here.
what's going on here.
The bell, the bell.
We're going to keep
Wind
going. We are
chime.
back live at Perry Family Health Center. We're having a little bit of radio
How do you
issues.
love
But
this?
you're watching
I
us
just want
live
you
on
to know
social
that
media,
I've
so we
taken
keep
apart the
going.
marshmallow
Michelle,
and the
here is your
chocolate.
mic.
I'm
We've got Michelle Landers with us.
From Washington, D.C.
From Washington, all the way from Washington, D.C. We've got Lonnie Markman and from Pilates Play Space, but so much more. And I've got Tiffany Kennedy. Captain Tiffany is our feature femme of Operation 120 on our Brooklyn Cafe Gazette that went out today. So I wanted you all to meet Captain Kennedy because you'll see her little vignette. Because we're talking about women's health, and you were in the military. You know, women's health is a big issue everywhere, but now you add the stress of being in the military and being a veteran. Are there services being provided for women in the armed forces?
Specific to women, gosh, no. I think there were three key things. One is line up and get anthrax in this arm and smallpox in this arm, and boy, that burnt. And then immunizations I just covered, but preventative health medicine. So there are more injuries called DNBI, disease non-battle injuries, than there are like combat-related injuries and deaths. So from this, under the Surgeon General, the Public Health Command has a mission to prevent those injuries. So I prevented exposures in the Air Force, and I reported into a public health Operation Health Working Group. And then I developed a passion for public health because my fellow officer was getting company grade officer awards more than I was.
And you're working now on your capstone project.
Capstone project is at Everglades University in Boca Raton in public health administration, complementary and alternative medicine concentration. So had some TCM classes, studied some cupping, understood miasms and constitutions. There are a definitive number of constitutions, you know, so there's only like, I don't know, something like 9 to 16, 3 miasms that make up
What's
our...
a miasm? My back hurts. My hormones are out of whack.
That's a
my
miasm?
migraine is back. I don't know. What's a miasm? It sounds like me
Where's
complaining
Dr.
every day.
Perry? The miasms are, we're all like legacies of a disease, a condition that was first introduced mostly in the World War I era. And they're all diseases are sort of byproducts of the original sexually transmitted diseases,
Interesting.
which are the bad ones.
Oh, all right. So we're going to talk to Dr. Perry about
Yeah,
that when she comes back in.
Ask her about miasms.
We're going to ask.
And
I'm
have
afraid to
have
ask her that question.
She's out networking. But we're going to bring her
So-
back in and talk
so
about that as well.
Working back, reverse, like she looks at she'll look at a constitution, and then there are chronic diseases that sort of have a propensity or vice versa to those that constitutional makeup, and then that's how she selects a treatment.